welcome again. We are now in really the final stretch. This is the last tool group that I'll be covering before my conclusion. So, for everyone who's stuck with me this far, I thank you. First, I'll address the elephant in the room. In case you're wondering, this is not part of my new stage attire. I actually fractured my wrist, so I have to wear this thing. It sucks, but it happened, so in case you're wondering, there's the explanation. Anyway, up until now I've covered groups of tools that either were exclusively for woodworking or used primarily in woodworking. This next group of tools are really just universal tools that are used across the trades. They're used in woodworking, but they're not designed especially for woodworking. I'll basically get started here. First, we have screwdrivers. Screwdrivers come in various shapes. Broadly speaking, there are 4 types of screwdrivers. There is what's called Torx or star drive, because they have these little teeth that come out, and it kind of resembles a star. Next is square drive, obviously because it looks like a square. Then we have Phillips head and straight head. Now, if you ask, the best type of screws to use are Torx. I really love Torx screws. I've had the least amount of slippage and stripping with these. I'd say out of a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give them a 9.9, only because a 10 would mean perfect, and I don't believe anything's perfect. Next would come square drive. Once again, almost as good. I've had very little problems with slippage or stripping. Slightly more than the Torx, but still minimal. I'd say on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give them like a 9, 8.9. Phillips head, I'd give them a 4 out of 5. I mean, seriously, they're pretty much only really surpassed by slotted screws, which I give a 1. And I just really do not like slotted screws at all. However, I primarily use Phillips and slotted head. 2 reasons. There are times in your project where you'll want to use, especially, a slotted screw to give for architectural or visual purposes. Like if you build reproduction furniture or furniture in the style of a certain period, like the 18th or 19th century, where it's just for sheer looks, a slotted screw just looks better or more appropriate. Also, because my Yankee screwdriver, which I touched upon earlier, I only have slotted and Phillips head screw bits for it. And the Yankee has proven to be such a great tool that I don't want to go without it. Honestly, when you're talking about both power, speed, and ease of use, this will give any cordless drill driver a run for his money. It's an amazing tool. And like I said, I touched on this earlier. To drive, you just push down and the shaft twists, and you can change it by a knob here for reversing. You can also lock it to be used as just a regular screwdriver. By the way, what you're hearing in the background is my son, Josh, who you met last week, and my daughter, Tara. Josh is running around playing, and Tara was crying, as 10-month-olds are wont to do. And so, the joys of parenthood. But I love the little monkeys, and there's no return policy. Anyway, similar to screwdrivers are Allen wrenches. Which basically work on the same idea of a screwdriver, taking a tool with a shaped head that goes into a corresponding indentation in a screw and is used to twist it into the work to join two or more pieces together. The difference is, if you see screwdrivers are just a long blade, the Allen wrench is actually curved, which allows you to get into tight work. Now there is this type of screwdriver, which is L-shaped, actually I guess S or Z-shaped, or for my British and Australian fans, Z-shaped. By the way, my wife's Australian, so I have a great love for all English speakers. So, this is a bit tedious. Like I said, they come in different sizes, different lengths, for different work. Here's a set of precision screwdrivers for really fine work. Yeah. Next up are wrenches. This type of wrench they have one open side, one closed side. The open side allows you to go into tight spaces where there's not a lot of room. The open side you can actually slip on and turn. These actually are ratcheting, so it actually turns so you get a more efficient motion. But yeah, there's also the old style. Then you actually have ratchets. You have this tool, which has bits that fit over top of it that are used to drive in bolts or lag screws. Similar to that, more old-fashioned, these nut drivers. Exactly like a screw, except instead of having a head that goes into an indentation, it has a head that slips over top. Then you have an adjustable wrench, which, if you don't know the size of what you're using, you don't know the size of a bolt or nut, you can just open and close the mouth to fit on. Similar are the slip joint pliers and just regular pliers. There's also needle nose pliers, more for fine work. And then you have these. I've heard them called different things. I call them side cutters. Basically, they're used to pull out nails or staples from like boards you buy at the hardware store. You know, pull out a staple. Or if you use reclaimed lumber, like I do a lot of times, you can pull nails out with them. Now, and finally, these are the tin snips. I use these very little. Usually I just use them to cut bands. But for people who like to use mixed media, like mixed metals with wood, like for inlay or stuff like that, they're good for that. You can cut designs and then inlay them in to your wood. So these would be good for that. They're straight, left-handed, right-handed. So, and then there's nail sets that are used to sink nails down below a surface. Then I had a putty knife here somewhere, but I lost it. But then you putty over it and sand it, and you know, it's all good. Oh yeah, if I haven't talked about this before, a sanding block which holds sandpaper. That way you don't burn your hand or get a splinter. And then finally, for safety, good old safety glasses. And earplugs, although these are more used if you're a power tool woodworker. And like I said, these are used across trades. A lot of these will be used more on your tools than what they will be used in actually working wood. But they are used in woodworking, and they are very helpful. Hi, Joogie! How's you? Thank you.
Mine.
Yeah, no, mine. But you may use it. It'll be yours someday.
Up.
No, not up.
Go.
Star of the show. But anyway, that basically brings it to a close. There are some things I haven't touched on. I'm not going over workbenches or cabinets or anything like that. Because really, your workbench is going to evolve as you evolve as a worker. I mean, this began as literally a sheet of half-inch plywood on plastic sawhorses. And evolved as I evolved. So there are some things that will change. And I'll get into that in the conclusion parts, which will be broken into 3 subparts. So, you're not done with me yet. So, anyway, I will say goodbye. I will forewarn you that when I go to my conclusions, there will be some politics mentioned. Not a lot, but, you know, that it does influence some of the way I worked. But don't worry, I won't agree. I'm not endorsing anybody or anything. I'm just it'll just be in the explanation of why I did this in the larger part. So, anyway, I wish you all peace. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you in the conclusions. Bye-bye. Say bye, Josh.
Bye.
No, say bye to the people in YouTube land.
Bye.
Bye-bye.